Good afternoon. Today is Sunday, March 29th, 2020. My name is Ricardo Sandoval, and this video is for week 2 of Biology 240. This week, we're talking about the cardiovascular system, specifically the heart, and I'll be discussing the anatomy and physiology of a sheep heart, which I have right here. So the first part of the sheep heart I'm going to talk about is the right atrium, that I'm going to show you from the posterior portion, or the posterior aspect of the heart. And then my right atrium is right about there. And then what the right atrium does is it receives deoxygenated blood from the systemic circuit, or the system, pretty much the entire body, from the inferior and superior vena cava. So my vena cava on this diagram is this portion here. Superior, of course, means up, inferior means down. So this portion here, this is my superior vena cava, and then I'm going to put my finger in, and then you'll see kind of where it pops through the heart. Hopefully you can see my finger in there. That's the inferior vena cava. Now, in any, or most, I should say, diagrams of the heart, deoxygenated blood is blue because it's given its oxygen to tissues, red blood cells called erythrocytes, and it's now returning to the heart for reoxygenation. So the next part of the heart I'm going to talk about is the left atrium, and now we're on the anterior portion of the heart. And my left atrium is right there. And what the left atrium gets is it gets blood that has been oxygenated. So in oxygenation, we have what's called gas exchange, where we've breathed in oxygen during inhalation or inspiration, and the body has kicked out or released carbon dioxide, or CO2, during expiration or exhalation. And the left atrium receives this oxygenated blood from the left and right pulmonary veins that you can see here on the posterior portion of the heart. Next up is my right ventricle, and we're now going to go to the anterior portion of the heart, and this is the right ventricle here. And then just like the right atrium, it receives, or it has deoxygenated blood, which basically goes from the ventricle, to the pulmonary trunk, to the lungs, and ultimately to the right and left pulmonary arteries. And the pulmonary arteries are here. And the next part I'm going to talk about is my left ventricle, and again, anterior portion. This is my left ventricle here, and then just like the left atrium, the left ventricle pumps, or has oxygenated blood, and it pumps it into the aorta. My aorta on this heart is here, where my finger has gone into. This is my aorta. And then the aorta, of course, going this way, pumps blood into what's called the systemic circulation, or the system, arms, legs, capillaries, all that good stuff. Next up is the interventricular sulcus, or the interventricular sulci, which are here and here, for the, I guess, anterior, posterior. And these are interventricular because they're or in between the ventricles, and they are fat-filled grooves that contain blood vessels. On a side note, as far as how the heart works, we have what's called systole and diastole, like systolic and diastolic blood pressure. In systole, the bicuspid and tricuspid valves contract or close, and in diastole, they relax. Thank you.